We are honored to have our next guest joining us today because they are an example of a couple who have relied on their faith and drawn on their faith, whether it's in the political limelight or in taking care of their family at home. And so we welcome Rick and Karen Santorum. You know Senator Rick Santorum from his efforts to seek the presidency. And Bella's Gift is the name of the book, How One Little Girl Transformed Our Family and Inspired a Nation. Senator Santorum and Karen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ben. We appreciate you having us on.
Thank you.
And what a wonderful expression, again, of your love when you write this book. And Karen, let me start with you. Tell us about Bella.
Oh, Bella is a little girl who no one gave any hope to. She was 4 days after her birth. We were given a very hard diagnosis of trisomy 18, which is a genetic syndrome where a child has an extra 18th chromosome in every cell of their body, and then it causes a lot of health issues. Bella, we were told Bella wouldn't live past a day or a few days, and I'm so happy to tell you she's going to be 7 in May.
Amazing.
And she's a very happy, joyful girl who just blesses us every day.
What a wonderful picture on the cover there, too, of your family.
Thank you.
And Senator, your efforts on the political front certainly have to have been either both inspired and also, challenged by your family challenges.
Well, as we talk about in the book, and I talk about in detail, Bella is the second. I mean, every child's a challenge. When you have 7 children, nobody gets out without scrapes and scars. So don't get me wrong with that. Every child is a challenge and a gift. But Karen and I actually we have eight children. Our fourth child, Gabriel Michael, passed away back in 1996, and that was right after the time I started to take on the issue of abortion in the United States Senate, and so we had to go through the real challenge of a pregnancy that was a difficult one in the womb in 1996, and now here later in 2008 with Bella. And so I always say, God gave me the blessing of not only to be able to talk about the issue from an intellectual point of view, but gave me the blessing to have to live it out in your life. And I think that gives you a much different perspective on the issue and the dignity of all life.
And Karen, again, you had to, I imagine, struggle with this, knowing that there's possibly something wrong with this pregnancy.
Yeah, it was interesting. During the pregnancy, what we were told could have been anything from completely normal to devastating. And so, I actually had a joyful, peaceful pregnancy, and I just hoped and prayed for the best. And then it was 4 days after Bella's birth that we received the diagnosis.
Yeah. You in fact, in your chapter, you can talk about love chooses joy. What did you mean by that?
Love through joy.
Love chooses joy. You talk about you quote C.S. Lewis. You look at some very Plato and some other things too. But it all comes down to the joy that you have of having Bella in your life.
Yeah, sometimes I think that what we think will be our greatest heartbreaks, our greatest challenges, end up being our greatest blessings and joys and gifts. Bella blesses us every day. And I just, when I was growing up, my mother always said, there's blessings in every situation. You just have to find them. And that was the joy that we found with Bella, that this little child, God gave to us. We call her an angel from heaven, and she does bring much joy, and we feel blessed because of it.
In every chapter in the book, as you can see, the first word of every chapter is love, because really, ultimately, what Bella taught us is how to love more fully and more completely, and understand all the different aspects of love. And actually, like I said, there are 18 chapters where the gift that Bella has given us is to really more deeply understand what love compels us to do.
Well, Senator Santorum, of course, much is being made of a possibility of another presidential run. Does this tour encourage you on that? Are you getting that kind of feedback, or where are you on that right now?
Well, I mean, we're trying to be very clear. This is not a campaign book. I wrote a book last year called Blue Collar Conservative. That was
right.
More of a policy book. This has really been a mission that's been in Karen's heart for a long, long time, and frankly took a long time for us to have the courage and be in an emotional position where Bella's healthy enough and strong enough that we feel like we could go out there and talk about this and share it with the public. And our real intention here is to try to help every family that deals with not just a trisomy 18 child, but with not just children, but maybe some elderly parent, whoever, who are going through crisis. And this book is very much about marriage and how faith helps you get through these difficult times, how your commitment in marriage helps you get through. And the politics, for me, is something that we're sort of putting on hold here a little bit. We're going to make a decision on the presidential race in spring, early summer, and so we've got some time in between now and then.
Well, Karen, having a politician husband and again 8 children in your life, you've had certainly your share of challenges there.
Oh, my goodness, that's funny. I'm one of 12 kids, so actually
really? Wow.
Having 7 is really not a big family to me. It's really been fun.
Oh, I thought my 2 were enough.
They can be.
Yes, indeed. Rick and Karen Santorum with us again, as the book is called Bella's Gift, How One Little Girl Transformed Our Family and Inspired a Nation. I was reading trisomy 18, was it 3,000, 6,000 cases a year? That's about it?
Yeah, 2,500 cases a year.
Yeah.
That's how many kids survive at the birth, and it's more common than that. The actual trisomy diagnosis is 1 in every 2,500 pregnancies, but again, about 90% of those kids die before they're born, and so you're dealing with a very small percentage of those who are actually impacted by trisomy 18.
I know my wife and I were older parents, and we went through amniocentesis, but with the idea that we were going to use the results to plan. We were never thought about aborting a child. So is that something that came up for you?
I don't think they may have mentioned it early, but not really, because the markers weren't there. And we years ago with our first baby, we decided not to do prenatal tests for the same reason that you said.
Yeah, we just feel like whatever the Lord gives us, He gives us, and we're going to deal with it. And to me, a lot of the prenatal testing, just a lot of it isn't very accurate, and so the idea of doing so is is more anxiety creating than it is anything else.
Well, where are you seeing the research going in for this? Not only for this particular disorder, but for other similar ones. Are you encouraged?
You know, there's very little research, if any. It's interesting. Most of it has been done in Japan, and what is fascinating to me is that, sadly, in America, the death rates are higher because doctors tend to describe trisomy 18, and there's other diagnoses similar to it where they say lethal diagnosis, the child's incompatible with life, let them go, don't do anything. And in Japan, it's amazing. The statistics for these kids' survival rates is 50%. It's much, much higher than it is here. As
opposed to 10% of the children that survive birth here. So it's 5 times more in Japan because they actively treat these children as opposed to in America, they don't. Another reason that we wanted to write this book was really to send a message to the medical community that what this diagnosis is when these kids survive birth, they actually don't have, they have some problems, but a lot of them can do well. And we've already gotten letters from doctors as a result of the interviews we've done in the book saying that we've been lied to. They feel like the medical community has not been forthright in dealing with this disability and frankly similar ones, trisomy 13 and others.
How about the support system you receive just from the rest of your family? You have 7 kids, so how is that helping?
Oh, we were so blessed. Oh, my goodness. My family, my friends, our church community, everyone just kicked in, and they were there for us in such a big way. There were people who, there was a silence, and I think anyone listening who has a child with disabilities, it's really very sad. Sometimes people don't know what to say or what to do, and the only advice I can give is just to love them and care for them and help them on their journeys.
Yeah, the ministry of presence is very important here. And in fact, your daughter Elizabeth has helped you with this book, right?
Oh, Elizabeth was outstanding. She's a bright girl, and she really helped us. And Bella's Gift is really a book for anyone who is suffering, anyone who is going through a tough time, a challenging time. Our prayer is that the book will help them to come out on the other side and be all right, just to help them in some way.
Well, our prayers certainly are with both of you and with your entire family. And also, we're very interested, Rick, in an announcement you may make in the spring. So we'll be looking forward to that, too. Senator Rick Santorum and Karen Santorum. The book is called Bella's Gift, How One Little Girl Transformed Our Family and Inspired a Nation. And we are just honored that you spent some time with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben.
This is Coastal Daybreak here on the talk station, FM 107 and AM 1240. We'll update where our weather conditions are coming up in just a moment.